Have you ever thrifted a vintage snapback just to realize that it's dusty, crusty, rusty, and just overall musty? Don't worry, I've got you covered today because I'm going to show you how to breathe new life into a vintage snapback just like this. Alright, so before we get started, just want to take a look at what we're working with. It's a vintage Stanford University snapback in pretty good shape, but could use a little extra work. As you can see, got some stains on the front lettering that we want to take out, and then of course all these stains on the sweatband. Who knows what kind of stains these are, so definitely want to give it a thorough wash, and then of course also want to reshape it. Both of those things we can take care of today. Alright, let's get to the materials that'll help make this magic happen, or as I like to call it, my secret sauce. First, you'll want a hard bristle brush. Alright, this will help knock off some of that dirt and grime. You can use whatever kind of brush you want. This is actually a Jason Mark brush, but anything that has those hard bristles will work. Next, an old toothbrush. Alright, this has to be one that's retired from the toothbrushing game. You don't want to use this on anything but what you're cleaning. Next, you'll want 2 plastic containers, one for your cleaning solution, the other one for the bleach solution, which I'll show how to make in a minute. Want 2 of those. Now your actual cleaning products, you'll want dish soap. Alright, any brand will do. I usually use Dawn or like this random grocery store brand, whatever works. Next, and this is most important, OxiClean. Alright, shout out to my man Billy Mays.
Don't just clean it, OxiClean it.
This stuff works wonders on the dirt and grime that builds up on the hats. And next for our cleaning solution, and most importantly for the sweatband, you want bleach. Alright, don't spill it on yourself, don't spill it on other people, be careful with it. But you'll definitely want this for the sweatband and other white areas of the hat. Alright, so now you want to grab your plastic cup and your OxiClean. Usually use a little bit of a scoop, not a full scoop. You don't need a whole lot of OxiClean here, especially if you're only doing one cap. Then go ahead and grab your dish soap. Again, don't need a whole lot, just a couple squirts will do the job fine. Once you have both of those ingredients added, you want to give it a little bit of a shake just to mix things around. Then add your water. In this situation, you definitely want to stick with cold water. All right, if you use warm water, it'll make the colors bleed on vintage hats and is not something that you want. So again, stick with the cold water, fam. You want to mix things around, make sure the OxiClean has dissolved, and then set that aside. All right, so now you're going to take your cap and you give it a little bath. All right, so you're going to want to get everything wet. Again, working with cold water, inside, outside, brim, sweatband, every nook and cranny you want to get wet. As you can see, since we're working with a red cap, there's a little bit of color that comes out and the water is going to be a little pink. Don't worry, this is perfectly normal with the vintage caps since the color does bleed a little bit. All right, so we got our secret cleaning sauce, we got our wet hat. Now we just need to grab our hard bristle brush and get to work. So go in, start scrubbing vigorously on the front of the hat. Don't worry, you will not hurt it, all right? Circular motion, Mr. Miyagi style, wax on, wax off. You want to scrub until you get some suds on the front of the hat, work your way to the bill. Once you make your way to the inside, you want to make sure that you're scrubbing down the bill, but that especially getting the sweatband, as that is the area that has probably the most dirt, grime, and sweat. Alright, so after a couple minutes of washing, you want to go ahead and rinse off your cap with cold water. As you can see, there's a little bit of color bleeding into the water. That's as to be expected with vintage caps like this, but with the cold water, this can be reduced. Make sure that you get both the inside and the outside of the cap. You don't want to leave any suds or cleaning solution in the material itself. Now our head is nice and clean, but as you can see, the sweatband still has a little bit of dirt and stains, so we can take care of that with some bleach. If you don't have a white headband, then you can skip this step and go right to the drying process. Alright, so chances are you're going to want to put down some cardboard or newspaper just in case so that you don't spill it anywhere. Then you'll need your second plastic container to put the bleach in. You'll need some water to water down the bleach. And of course, you'll need the bottle of bleach itself. And then finally, the used toothbrush that you'll use to apply the bleach to the hat. And of course, just to be safe, you might also want some plastic gloves. To get started, you're going to pour your bleach into your other small plastic container. I usually do 1 part bleach to 3 parts water. So basically 1/4 of the container will be bleach, 3/4 of the container will be water. That's still pretty concentrated, so you definitely want to be careful not to splash it on yourself or on the colored parts of the hat. Once all the ingredients are in there, give it a mix with the toothbrush and then go and get your hat. Once you get the hat, you want to flip the sweatband inside out so that it's easier to grab and work with, and ensure that you don't spill any of the bleach onto the colored part of the hat. Once that's finished, go ahead, grab your toothbrush and get to scrubbing. Again, you want to be really precise with your brush marks to make sure that you're not spilling any of the solution on any part of the colored hat. If it does bleed over or splash onto the colored part of the hat, go ahead and grab that cup of water and just pour some on the affected area, and this should dilute the bleach solution so that it does not stain. Now that that's finished, we want to take the hat back to the sink and rinse any areas where we used the bleach solution on. This will make sure that there's no more bleach solution left during the drying process that might stain or otherwise damage the hat. So this is very important. Again, we're working with cold water here, and you want to make sure that you rinse the entire brim of the cap along with the sweatband, just to make sure that there's nothing left. Boom, now we have a nice clean cap on the inside and the outside. The next stop is of course the drying process, and for that we'll be using some plastic bags. Now, you'll want to flip the sweatband inside out just like when we were washing it. This will help prevent any color transfer from the hat to the nice white sweatband, and if there is any bleach left over, it won't damage the hat at all. So take the plastic bags and stuff them in the crown of the cap. You want to fit as many as you possibly can in there, just to make sure it gives you a nice round fitted shape, making sure to pull that sweatband out and make sure that it's not touching any parts of the colored hat. Once you have all of them stuffed in, you can then leave it out to dry outside if it's warm, or inside if you have a nice, cool, dry space in your living area.
24 hours later.
So here we are the next morning after the drying time is completed. All you have to do is remove the plastic bags, return the sweatband to its proper position, and you are good to go. Bam! There's the finished product, looking fresh, looking clean, definitely not looking like it just walked out of a thrift shop. And all of it only took a few short, easy steps that you can do at home. Thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you in the next video.
Give me the loop! Give me the loop! Give me the loop! Give me the loop!